What I'm going to show you here is a running lead that is designed to only dump the lead when absolutely necessary. I'm going to create a breakaway lead, and I'm going to use a very old-fashioned technique called a rotten bottom that I learnt from sea fishing. To make the lead-free leader version, I'm going to use a shock bead, and you notice on the shock bead you've got a big bore this side, and then we've got a shallow dish the other side, and I want to put the needle in through the shallow dish side. I just hook the lead-free leader onto a needle, and then that goes all the way down, and that is what is going to sit over the swivel. So it should sit like this, and the barrel of that swivel just disappears inside that shock bead there. That's how it's meant to go. Then I need a 6mm shock bead. Doesn't really matter which way round you thread that on, and that gets slid all the way up until it sits above the buffer bead. For the swivel, you could just use a regular size 8 ring swivel like that. I'm going to grab a little micro ring swivel. Next thing we need is a simple swivel pair lead. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut the swivel off this lead so that we're just left with a single loop. To make the rotten bottom connection, we're going to need some lightweight mono. I've chosen some 8-pound mono, and I need 15 centimetres of that. Take the lead and thread the mono through the top loop. Fold the mono roughly in two to even up the tag ends. Take your ring swivel and just pass that end through one of the tag ends and let the swivel slide down to touch the lead. Holding both the tag ends, make a simple overhand loop and pull both tag ends like that. That creates a basic loop. To make that loop small and neat, just pull those tag ends and close down the loop. Take the tag ends once more and repeat that knot. So we've got 2 overhand knots on top of one another. Cut the tag ends off really neatly. Take the swivel and thread it onto the lead-free leader. And that's the finished lead system. Don't forget, if you have to use a very lightweight mono for the rotten bottom, you can always add some PVA tape to enable you to cast that extra distance. So I'm going to show you how easy it is to break that rotten bottom connection. You know, that could be trapped between some rocks or stuck in some weed or something. And if I just pull on the leader here, you know, you'd be pulling from the rod end and just fingertip, bunk, and that's off. Really not much force at all. Obviously in that situation you lose the lead, but if you're playing the fish, you're just going to land the carp with that without the lead. And if you just got the lead trapped, you just wind that in, tie a new lead on and go again. If you need to cast over 60 yards up to 80, 90, whatever, you can use exactly the same material. So you still use 8-pound mono, and we'll still use the same amount of length of it. We're going to go through the lead and through the swivel twice. This makes extra sure that the rotten bottom is safe for casting, but will still break at a low force. I'm still just going to do the 2 overhand knots there. You can add 3 if you're really worried. All depends on what you're doing. The point of this entire system is that it's tunable to various different situations.